Good evening and welcome to NTA Lagos Channel 10. I'm Victoria Olabode, and with me for the sign language is Olaoluwa Bayonle. First on the news, a special on corruption, where Nigerians have been urged to shun all forms of corrupt practices in order to make the country a better place. Dosa Osula in this special report takes a look at how to put an end to the menace of corruption in the country.
Corruption has a lot of negative consequences on every sphere of societal development, whether social, economic, or political. Over the years, past governments have made efforts to fight corruption, but corruption has remained widespread. The challenge of fighting corruption was therefore a major issue during the 2015 elections in Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari made the fight against corruption one of his cardinal programs along with security and the economy. Recent developments that saw government agencies losing corruption-related cases in court and the allegations of judicial gang-up prompted the Chief Justice of Nigeria to warn Nigerians to desist from being judgmental on the performance of the judiciary in the ongoing anti-corruption fight. However, cross-sections of legal practitioners interviewed have this to say.
But I do not think that the federal government is losing the war against corruption in the country. You see, because whether you like it or not, the fight is sending a lot of good people down the spines of politicians and corrupt people. Even in the courts and in the small executives, everybody is sitting up, even though the war has not been taken to their pitch, but everybody is sitting up. So to that extent, I do not think that the federal government is losing the war. You know, when matters go to court, some will be lost. Might be lost on technicalities. But the important thing is that it goes down that some will be lost. But there will be others too if you have 100 cases, it's not possible that the federal government will win all the 100 cases. It's a pass mark if they win 50. But it will go down to people and to the generation that are coming, that look, it's no longer business as usual. So to that extent, I do not think the federal government is losing the war.
I don't think that the fact the court ordered that the accounts be defrozen means that the federal government is losing the war against corruption. It can just be a setback. Besides, there could be a number of reasons why the court ordered that should be done. And in any case, if things like this happen, that does not necessarily mean that is the end of the road. And I also think that it's okay for the government to keep fighting this war against corruption. We have a lot of issues in this country, and any assistance and any support we can give the government, I personally, I would do that, because I think that corruption is a big problem, and the government should not be discouraged. Rather, I would say that the government should do its work properly. Those who are investigating, those who are prosecuting, should make sure they do their own bit, because the court can only act based on the evidence before it.
When we talk about corruption, corruption is hydra-headed. Corruption does not have one centralized approach to fighting it. I might beg to differ that the approach of the federal government from ab initio, from them coming into this government, was, they badge on corruption field itself. They themselves, they did not have the wherewithal, knowledge and experience in tackling corruption. Corruption requires technicality. It requires legal approach. It requires social approach. It requires the economic approach. So every key sector of fighting the corruption must be annexed together. So when we now talk about the legal aspect of it, which the federal government is concentrating much effort through the EFCC and other anti-graft agencies, we will look at it within the limit of their powers and within the limit of their legal vituperations. One will say that the federal government is not prepared for this war at all.
As the Buhari administration keeps perfecting its plans and strategies in its fight against corruption, Nigerians are of the opinion that it is necessary to reflect on the failure of previous efforts at the fight against corruption with a view to ending the menace once and for all. In Lagos, Nosa, Osula, NTA News.
Lagos residents have called on the newly elected House of Assembly members to pay more attention to the needs of the electorate by enacting more laws that will be in the interest of the citizens. Correspondent Mary Jane Nweze, who spoke to a cross-section of residents of their expectations of the newly elected members, tells us more.
The 2019 general election might have come and gone. It has left behind winners who are to occupy various political offices. Among these offices is the House of Assembly, whose duty is to sit on legislative matters that will affect the life of the citizens. The citizens, while congratulating them for their victory, urge them to do everything within their power to make their purpose in the House worthwhile.
I would like to congratulate them, and people in Lagos deserve good governance. Security aspect, we thank God that God have been so good. And other areas, and the population in Lagos State is much, so they need to do good things, especially light, power. In all those years, you discover that power holding has become an issue. Everybody. So presently now in Irisul area here, and I discover that the supply of water is not regular. So many other things, the roads, other things that can make human being live a better life. This is what we expect from them.
They are coming into uncharted territory in the sense that there's a lot. Nigerians are crying out for a lot in terms of regulations right now. I know the police bill is on ground. The reform bills for the Nigerian police is one of them, and even the electoral bill reform. So what I would expect of them most is speed. We don't want bills taking years to pass.
They said that most of the elected members were those previously in the House and had proven their ability. They therefore urged them to do better in the night assembly.
Most of them did well previously. Hopefully, for the fact that they did well in their first term, I think they'll do better this time. So let's just be positive about what they did the last time, and let's just be hopeful and positive about it, and just be optimistic about it generally. Yeah.
I expect that they would focus more on their constituency project, unlike the others that normally, corruption now. They eat the money and just go, but I would prefer if they would actually use those monies for constituency projects to really work in terms of infrastructure, social amenities, and other things in general.
Adding that the response to bill appropriation by the lawmakers in this dispensation will prove their integrity. In Lagos, Mary Jane Nweze, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Lagos residents have urged the state governor-elect Babajide Sanwo-Olu to give priority to education and review the state's education budget. The residents plead in an interview with NTA News on the importance of education in the state. Details in this report.
The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, reports Education for All 2000 to 2015 had recommended between 15 to 20% education budgets for all countries. The federal government allocated 605.8 billion naira for education, which stands at 7.4% of the 2018 budget. Budgetary provision for education in the 2019 budget fell below the 15 to 20% minimum recommended for developing countries by UNESCO. According to stakeholders, poor funding, infrastructure decay, and poor remuneration were major challenges confronting the sector. They urged the governor-elect to ensure that he increases the state's education budget to improve the state's economy.
Government should identify students who are intelligent and train them up, give them scholarship, give them financial aids, assist their parents, assist them definitely. Let it be glaring as a policy that anyone who is intelligent academically, the government takes him up. When that is done, everyone will be interested in education, and then we have a better nation.
The government can develop education by giving scholarships, free education to those with some areas like this where they don't like education. They should give them free education, everything free there.
I'm sure the good governments now are going to take a good step on it.
That they need more teachers. So maybe by the time they employ capable teachers to teach them effectively, so that they will be able to perform excellently.
Need them to provide infrastructures that are required for the student to train well. Books are important. If the government try to reduce the school fees, it gives the children the opportunity to come more into the schools to learn. Because a government that does not train its youths will find problem in future. So conducive environment for the children to be taught in schools is very key. Provision of vehicles that can take children from their homes to school is very important. And training the teachers at all times. When the teachers are well trained, they will be able to deliver good education for the children.
They advise government at all levels to place premium on education. In Lagos, Nosa, Osula, NTA News.
Away from that, to the effect of traffic on Lagos residents, traffic congestion is a major challenge faced by both drivers and commuters in the city of Lagos. Jessica Moses in this special report takes a look at the effect of traffic gridlock on the state and its residents.
Why you speaking Oyibo? Oyibo, you dey Lagos Oyibo. If I carry you go banana, my guy, you go love Lagos. If I carry you go to Elegushi, you go love Lagos. If I carry you go Niru, my guy, you go love Lagos. Sepe see the police, Governor Ambode Kofoshi.
The Lenten season is here again, a time of sober reflection, obedience, love, repentance, and forgiveness. NTA Lagos Channel 10 is calling on churches, clergymen, and Christians at large to share their knowledge of God's Word in areas of interest pertaining to the Lenten season, such as resurrection.
Raised from the dead is what resurrection is all about.
Peace.
There is no peace anywhere outside of Jesus.
The Holy Communion.
It gives us an opportunity to be spiritually sensitive and to be spiritually alert.
Godliness.
Are you a godly man? Are you a godly woman? To be godly, we must be spiritually fit.
And many more on our platform, The Lenten Talk. For more information and bookings, please call Henrietta on 0803 343 0169. Margaret on 0808 451 0040. And Kem on 0706 086 5487. And Fumi on 0805 396 3719. Jesus is Lord.
You're still watching NTA Lagos Channel 10 News at 7. Before the break, we had the story on effect on traffic congestion as a major challenge faced by both drivers and commuters in the city of Lagos. Jessica Moses in this special report takes a look at the effect of traffic gridlock on the state and its residents.
Cities are locations having a high level of accumulation and concentration of economic activities. They are complex spatial structures supported by transport system. Urban productivity is highly dependent on efficiency of its transport system to move labor, consumers, and freight between multiple origins and destinations. Congestion is one of the major transport problems in large urban agglomerations, usually above a threshold of 1 million inhabitants. In the West Africa's and Nigeria's economic hub of Lagos, with population of about 18 million people, this explains the reason for the daily traffic congestion that characterizes the city.
All over the country, when you are looking at where you have high vehicular density, Lagos is one state that you really mention as number one. An average home in Lagos have 3 cars. One for the husband, one for the wife, and one to do school run. And all those 3 cars, they go at the same time.
It's getting worse, by the day because, for those of us that is plying this Ogba axis, it is terrible. That's one of the reasons I don't bring my car again.
I miss a lot of appointments. Sometimes, if I notice the traffic, I'll just park somewhere and take a bike.
Economic experts say the business community in Lagos loses not less than 11 billion naira monthly to daily traffic and gridlock, as according to statistics, 40% of vehicles in the entire country are in Lagos.
It has caused a lot of problems. He has spoiled my AC. Yeah, I'm not happy. Our children will be going to school in the morning. Let's say a child left the house to 7, he'll be getting to school to 9 because of the traffic.
If your meeting is, for example, if your meeting is 4 o'clock, you have to go by 2 o'clock, 2 hours ahead. You program 2 hours for traffic.
Not everybody wants to do what will make Lagos traffic to move. If you now ask people who say, why do we have this hold up, road safety, last mile, can't you do something? But the man that is telling you, can't you do something, when he gets to a roundabout, he will not be patient to allow the man inside the roundabout to have his way first before he goes. When he gets to any T-junction, he does not know that he has to give a slow down for the vehicle on the major road to go first before him that is entering the major road can enter. So everybody really wants to see Lagos traffic move, but we're not willing to pay the price.
Congestion is the outcome of economic success, as the level of mobility exceeds what was initially anticipated and designed for. It is particularly linked with motorization and diffusion of the automobile, which has the demand for transport infrastructures. The supply of infrastructure has often not been able to keep up with the growth of mobility. Achieving an intermodal transport system in the economic center of Nigeria, the city of Lagos will in no little way play a major role in reducing some of the challenges.
Government should provide an alternative route. Open up if there are other alternative routes that they can divert in order to save the time people are spending on the traffic, it should be good. Government should provide alternative. And good also, if the railway they are planning to do, it's also a very good avenue to help people to reduce the number of people that are going out with their car.
From Yanopaja to Oshodi, that axis. If that thing can be, if the new administration can work on that, quickly, then I'm so sure that a lot of people will be, will feel the ease of transportation.
The condition of the road is also a factor. The government is doing their best to ensure that some of these potholes created by rain and all those things, that they are giving some palliatives. We also need a shift in our commuting mode, and everybody will have to be ready to embrace that. We need to get to a level where you should be able to make use of water transportation conveniently, the way you are making use of your BRT without any issue on it. No matter how many buses you bring on the BRT lane, it will not still do the magic.
The current administration in Lagos has got a delivery of new vehicles for an improved transport. Functional rail system and increased water transportation will be of great help.
In Lagos, Jesuta, Moses, NTA News.
Away from traffic now to sport news. Government have been urged to invest more on sports as it promotes peace and unity in the country. Benga Loyede reports that sport lovers in Lagos also believes that investing in sports could also help in reducing unemployment in the state to the barest minimum.
We did not see any support from the government, but we are begging them to come and support us. We wish to tell the corporate body, the investor, to help we youth, because without sport, I don't think we'll be where to be found in the future. So we need their support.
Sports can aid to promote peace and tolerance in Nigeria. Like for example, in sports, for example, taekwondo now, we have Muslims, we have Christians, we have Buddhists, we have Rosicrucians here. We are all practicing and doing the same thing under one mind and under one law.
The International Day of Sports for Development and Peace is an annual celebration of the power of sports to drive social change, community development, and to foster peace and understanding.
Sports creates an environment for playing among the youth and for them to compete in the right environment without people having negative opinions. We have seen football teams that comprise of all sections of Nigeria, and they play together and they mingle together. And we have seen Nigeria supporting teams composed of members of different tribes of Nigeria, and everybody unites together and supports as one Nigeria. So in that way, it's clear that sports is one of the greatest unifiers we have in this country. It actually unifies the country a lot.
Aside from our well-being, sports is a unifying factor when it comes to peace in any nation. Because when Nigeria is playing, all of us are Nigerians. We are one Nigeria.
Some speak on how sports can promote peace, tolerance, and understanding.
I'm amateur boxer, light heavyweight. We need government to support us, be giving us what we need, because we've been staying for how long? No competition and no anything. So we're just training. We need their assistance in everything, because their support, because it's not individual. They are the ones supporting us. So we need their support badly. So like me now, I represent Nigeria 2014 since now, and I went to camp 2019 Commonwealth camp. So we need more. If they are doing more games, so we'll be more improving and more experience than the rest.
I'm the only Hausa from Birnin Kebbi that have represent my country 2 times, and I won silver medal in junior youth game. That is last year. You understand? So I want to use this opportunity to advise my younger youth, especially people in North, because they do not take this sport as nothing, but I want to advise them that sport is something that if you put your best in it, it's going to give you something more than the way you think.
And I'm a tennis player. I think government can promote this society by providing equipment for us, so that, because so many sport people, we have talent, but the government are not helping us.
Grassroots development programs that can help people synergize. That's different people of different cultures come together and be able to show what they have.
Creating an historical link to the first modern Olympic Games in 1996, 6 April was declared the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace by the United Nations UN General Assembly in 2013 and has been celebrated each year ever since 2014. Sport lovers has urged government to support and promote sport activities in the country as Nigeria joined the rest of the world to mark International Day of Sports for Development. In Lagos, Benga Oloyede, NTA News.
Thank you, Benga. On that interesting note, we end the news. Thank you for watching NTA Lagos Channel 10. I am Victoria Olabode, and Olaoluwa Bayole has been the man on sign language. Good evening.
Thank you.